Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back. Long time no see. A while back, I posted a video, talking about my story on sexual assault. If you haven't seen that, you're missing out. It is a pretty long video, but I don't really care. Hopefully this time I can get through filming this. Last time I got interrupted. Okay, so it is September, which means yes, no sense September, but also Suicide Awareness Month. I don't know if it's just Suicide Awareness Month or it's Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month, but I say both because if there's more awareness, it can be prevented. But anyhow, if you don't know, last month, Landon from Cam Fam took his own life. This is really hard for me to talk about, so I can't even imagine how Cameron feels. I saw her post and then I went and watched her video, which she posted once she could talk about it. It was a very, very, very extremely touching video. I do not recommend watching it if you are sensitive to hearing about or talking about addiction or suicide. And I would recommend watching it with a parent first. Yeah. So, I thought, since I shared my sexual assault story, that I would also share my suicide story, and all the times I've attempted, all the times I've been in the hospital, everything like that. It's not easy for me to talk about, but it's not terribly hard. A lot of people know that I was in the hospital, but they don't know what for. So, before I tell my story, I just want to say a few things. If you are at any point suicidal, you need to let somebody know. Because, promise you, it's not worth it. Sorry, I keep hearing the bushes brushing against my window. It sounds like somebody's in my house. Also, I do not want anybody watching this to think that suicide is frowned upon. I don't want you to think you're selfish, because you are not selfish. And I know everybody believes differently, but I promise you, you are not selfish. Your feelings do not make you selfish. Period. With all of that being said, I suggest clicking out of this video if you are sensitive to suicide, like talking about suicide, talking about self-harm, talking about overdose, talking about all of that stuff, because that is primarily what this video is about. It's not very hard for me to talk about because I had to talk about it for about 6 months after I was released from the hospital. It does make me stop and pause for a second, and detailed thinking gets involved, but hopefully I will not cry. So, I believe it was 2018. Let's see. 2017. It was 2017. So, July 3rd. Okay, let's start there. July 3rd of 2017, I got home from a friend's house, and I had been in a huge argument with her and her sisters and her grandma and grandpa for the past 3 hours until they finally made a decision to call my dad after me asking them multiple times. No, at this time I did not have a phone, so I couldn't call them myself. I distinctly remember almost getting a car accident and dying from this. Before, a little bit of background about this friend. Her and her sister are in the same grade. I was best friends with her. I'm not going to name her name. For years, because I helped them around school when they were new. Well, fast forward, my mom meets her, my mom really likes her, and then I decide to have them both over at once, not knowing that they would make me pick and choose between them, and I don't do that. So, I went back over there the next day, which was July 3rd, and with the plan of my dad just picking me up from there. But then I decided to stay the night. So, I stayed the night July 3rd. And I woke up. Everything was normal. And that's when they started bickering back and forth and pulled me right into the middle of it and had me choose between them and who was right and who was wrong. Now, I chose my best friend. Obviously, because she was my best friend. But I didn't know what the consequences were going to be the rest of the day. So, I started getting backlash from both of them, even though I took one side. And it carried on, and their grandma found out, and then we went places, and their grandma, and we were arguing all the time. Every day. Every second of that damn day. And, oh my gosh. And I got in the car with them because I couldn't call my dad. I got in the car with them, and they all went and got their nails done while I had to sit in silence after being repeatedly yelled at, called a bitch, called a hoe, called you name it. And I got told to jump out of the car and kill myself, and I was told to jump out of the car and they'll run me over, etc. On the way back to their house, we were bickering back and forth, me and the two girls, and their grandma slams on the brakes all of a sudden. And there's a car directly in front of us, and we were on the highway. There was a car directly in front of us. Didn't affect that car. That car kept going. There was a car directly behind us. The car was maybe this close to hitting the back of the car. I had a seatbelt mark across my neck because she slammed on the brakes so hard. And if that car behind us would have hit us, I would have been dead. And there's no question about it. Why is this so hard to talk about? When we got back to their house, it was silent the rest of the car ride. When we got back to their house, it was about 15 minutes. When we got back to their house, I started crying. Nobody knew that I was crying. It was kind of like an inside cry, but I was super quiet. And I was packing my stuff, making sure I had everything. Well, my friend stole some of my clothes that I brought. Like, she took my all-time favorite pair of shorts that I still wish I had. So, I didn't know until I left. But anyways, I had gotten my stuff together, and they called my dad. My dad was like, sure, I'll be right there. And he came and picked me up, and he knew that the second that he pulled into that driveway, he knew that something was wrong. I had my bags in my hand, clenching my bags in my hand, like literally like this. Just staring. Like not even at anything, just staring. And as soon as he got there, put my stuff in the truck, got in the truck. This pisses me off so bad talking about it too. Their grandpa walked up to my dad, and I will quote them, and if this video gets taken down, I will make it again. But I'm going to quote them. Her grandpa walks up to my dad, gets like this freaking close to his face, and is like, I don't ever want to see your fucking daughter here again. If you come around here again, I will make sure I have my gun and I will shoot you both. And he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. My dad's like, whoa, 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 what's going on? What happened? And my dad backed up because my dad didn't like him in his face. Obviously, who would? And my dad was kind of glancing back at me each time he got yelled at. He was being yelled at. He's like, what's going on? You know? And her grandpa was like, your daughter's extremely fucking disrespectful. You need to teach her respect. Maybe I should start parenting her for you. And my dad asked, how was she disrespectful? Yelling at my fucking grandchildren, calling them a bitch, telling my wife that she's a bitch. Which I did. I said, you fucking bitch. And I did. Because I was not going to sit there and listen to people calling me a bitch and calling me a hoe and telling me that they'll run me over and kill my family and this and that. I wasn't going to listen to it. So I said, you all need to shut the fuck up. Especially you bitch. And I don't feel sorry. Then my dad got in the truck. My dad said, okay, won't happen again. Won't see you guys again. Make sure this is cleared up. Sorry, I gotta keep it together. Then, when my dad got in the car and we pulled out of the driveway, I held it together until they couldn't see me anymore. And then I started crying hysterically. Like, you couldn't even understand me. And he was like, what's wrong? What happened? Like, this isn't you. It really wasn't something I do. And yeah, I was so upset that all I wanted to do was go with my mom. Go curl up with my mom. And having divorced parents, it wasn't that easy. And my mom was out of town with my sister and my stepdad at Kings Island. So I didn't want to interrupt their good time. So I got dropped off at my Nana's, which is my stepdad's parents. And I got dropped off there, was told that I couldn't stay there because of my past, and they were worried that it was happening again, which, if you don't know, I used to argue with them all the time. So my dad came and picked me up again and took me home to this house right here, which is his house. And he asked me if I was going to be okay, and I said, yeah, I'm just going to chill in here and watch TV. And he said, okay, if you need anything, I'll be outside splitting wood. He split wood, he mowed the yard, did everything normal. By that time, it was July 5th. And it got my thoughts, I wasn't even thinking anything. I grabbed 2 whole bottles of Benadryl, unopened, and some random dog pills that I found. And I put them all in my mouth, handfuls by handfuls by handfuls by handfuls, until it was all gone. Not knowing the effect that it would have. And I felt fine. I thought I was fine. I didn't think it was going to do anything. Well, I knew it was going to kill me, but I didn't care. And to this day, I still hate taking my prescription medicine because of this. And I can't take pills with water anymore. So it still has an effect on me today. But anyways, I got very sleepy. Because even taking one Benadryl will make anybody sleepy. So obviously I got really sleepy. And I passed out on the couch. And my dad asked me, and I will always remember this part. My dad came in and asked me, you know, I'd been crying, so he didn't think I took any pills. And I erased the evidence. I even drank removable nail polish. Or removing nail polish remover and nail polish. But my dad came in, woke me up. He said, "Hey, Haley, I got some fireworks. Want to go out and set them off?" So we went out in the backyard. Like, actually right outside my window that's right behind the camera. And we set the fireworks off. And I remember setting the fireworks off. I remember being barely awake as the fireworks were going off. And my dad... I was like, "Dad, are we almost done? Dad, are we almost done?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" And I was like, "I'm really tired. Like, I'm ready for bed." So I was completely conscious. After we finished the last firework, which was a big one, I remember feeling my body being there, but not feeling my feet on the ground. So my body was starting to go numb. I came in, I got my pajamas on, said goodnight to my dad, told him I loved him. I got in bed, went right back to sleep, and, you know, totally I didn't think to ask for help. I rearranged my room, but my bed was a little farther back. And I remember falling out of my bed 4 times. And I'm sure I fell out way more than that. And every time my dad would say, "Are you okay?" And I'd say, "Yeah, I just rolled out of bed." Which I did. But I couldn't feel my body to be able to get myself back in bed. I couldn't feel my hands to be able to feel around where it was. And the last thing I remember is getting back in bed that last time. And from there I was unconscious for about 5 days. My dad said that I was sleeping, I normally sleep in until like 1 o'clock, like that's the latest I can sleep in, but I slept in until like 1:30, 2 o'clock on July 6th, and I can remember the dates because it was traumatic. On July 6th, he came in at about 2 o'clock and couldn't get into my room because I fell right behind my door. Now, at that point, he knew something was wrong. So, he was able to push the door open, and bless my dad's heart. When he opened the door, he saw his only child laying there, foaming out of the mouth. Like, it's terrible. I was throwing up purple and blue and green. And I had cuts all over my body for some, like, I don't even know. And he found the pulse, obviously, because I'm right here. He found the pulse, so he called an ambulance, and I live 15 minutes away from Greenfield, but it obviously took forever for an ambulance to get here. And once an ambulance finally got here, my dad had to see me being pulled out on a stretcher, throwing up as these poor ambulances are picking me up off the ground. And I swear to you guys, if I could meet the ambulances and the doctors that saved my life, you don't even know. That'd be the best. Now, during this whole time, I was unconscious, but my dad had called my mom, my stepdad, my grandma, and my grandpa. My mom called my other grandma and grandpa, my aunt, who live in Virginia. So they obviously couldn't come down. I was rushed to ND Hospital. I was rushed to the Greenfield Hospital, I was rushed to the Greenfield emergency room. They couldn't do much. It was so severe, they'd never seen anything like it. So they couldn't really do much. So they call Riley Hospital. And I go to Riley Hospital. And for the next about 2 weeks, I was stuck in Riley Hospital on a breathing machine. And about three times I had to have those patches put on my chest where they basically electrocute a heartbeat back into you. And according to my stepdad, my mom couldn't even be in the room. My mom would scream every time. I'm sorry. When I finally did wake up, you guys, it was terrible. I had a feeding tube, I had heart monitors, I had 600 different IVs. It was terrible. Obviously, it pained all three of my parents. My dad especially, knowing that I'm his only child. It also pained my mom because my mom didn't know. My mom didn't know. She didn't know any of the pain that I had been going through, even before she saw me. She didn't know the pain I went through those few days. She didn't know. So, my stepdad is not even my stepdad. My stepdad is another dad. He's known me since I was about 2 years old. And he considers me another daughter. So for him to see me as a 12, 13-year-old, however old I was, laying on that bed in the hospital was terrible for him. It was terrible. I distinctly remember them finally being able to laugh because... and they got this on video. I remember them all being able to laugh because I was hallucinating from coming out of the drugs, they were wearing off. And I was hallucinating, and apparently I thought my mom was one of my cats. Don't know why. And my stepdad goes, "Don't touch her, she's gonna bite you." You'd have to know my cats to know why he said that. So he's always thinking of positives during the negatives, which is really hard for anybody to do. My grandparents got updates every day, and I remember the day that I came out of that hospital. I had to say goodbye to my mom and my dad and Jason because that's my stepdad. Because I was proven unfit to go home. So once I was able to walk again, I had to go across the street to St. Vincent's, which is like the mental hospital. And those people were hard as hell on me, but they made me who I am today. I was in there for about a week and a half, struggling, but learning. Struggling because I kept having flashbacks, which happened for about 2 months after. And it actually still happens. I kept having flashbacks from it all. I kept thinking about my mom, and I kept thinking about my dad and all of the pain that they witnessed and experienced. And it felt terrible. But after I finished the program, you guys, I went home and did not leave my sister's side for a good 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, because when I heard that little girl's face, or when I heard that little girl's voice, I knew that I could never do something like that again. I knew that that girl needed her older sister. I knew that I couldn't be the reason that my mom couldn't go to work that year. I knew I couldn't be the reason that my dad couldn't get out of bed. I knew I couldn't be the reason that Jason didn't make it to work. I knew that I couldn't be the reason for my family to go downhill. From that day forward, I promised myself, and I've kept this promise, I promised myself that if I ever felt like that again, that I would say something. And to this day, I have. So, now I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I still terribly struggle with self-harm. Like, you can literally see scars right there. Scars on my arms, right here. Scars right here. You guys, I cut so badly a few years after, because that was my way of me thinking, oh, I can't go to the hospital for this. Oh my gosh. That was my way of coping, because I told myself I've put my family through enough pain. Since the day I came out of my mom's womb, I've put them through enough pain. And I didn't want to be a burden, but I didn't want to go back to the hospital, so cutting was my way of feeling that pain. That was good. Getting rid of that pain that I was tired of, and being able to carry on as normal. So, the summer after I got home, I had a few weeks left before I started 7th grade. I was so excited, I was so happy, and then midway through 7th grade, I got a message saying, "Hey Haley, it's Bob," which I am going to say that because that's what we're going to call the girl. I'll be coming back to Eastern, which is the school I go to. And my heart dropped. When I tell you that I was at a good point. I just started dating somebody who knew about them, who knew about my past, who knew everything about me, but still was with me. And they still go to the school this day. But anyways, I started cutting again. After being about 6 months free, I started cutting again. My then boyfriend, I'm not gonna name his name, but he was freaking amazing. Made sure that they never contacted me until I got stabbed in the back 8th grade year when they started dating. But anyways, yeah. And nobody at school really knows that, because I became friends with them again. And no, I'm not friends with them anymore. I actually got in a fight with one of them, like a fist fight, and I won because they said something that pissed me off, and my mom, no, I didn't get in trouble. I got in trouble at school, but not at home. But anyways, so that's where I'm going to leave it before I get too emotional. I guess what I'm going to say before I close out this video and call somebody because I need to tell them something, is that if you are feeling any type of way, whether it be suicidal, you want to self-harm, if you're even mad, sad, whatever, please tell somebody, because I promise you, and I live by this quote, suicide does not end your pain. It just passes it to somebody else. So, that's where I'll leave this. Remember, you matter. You're worth everything. So, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my video. There is more times that I have attempted. 3 more times, but this is the one that really was terrible. I hope you guys have a good rest